I'm Kelley Crimmins with Plano Parks and Recreation, and I'm here with Olivia Osborne from Live Green in Plano. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Well, if you recall, last week, Olivia and I talked about different kinds of wildlife habitats at Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve. And this week, we are at Russell Creek Park, where we're going to talk about what these animals like to eat and where they find their food. So Olivia, we're here at the pond at Russell Creek, and we can already see that there are lots of ducks and other waterfowl. There's a heron we saw earlier, and different kinds of birds. We saw some baby ducks and geese. What are some ways that these animals who live around this area, where do they go for food?
So they're gonna be eating right here at the pond. For the most part, ducks or all the waterfowl that hang out around the water are omnivores just like we are. So they eat plants and they eat meat. So they're gonna do that thing where they kind of stick their bottoms up in the air and go in the water. That's called dabbling. And that's why ducks have those long necks, so they can reach the plants and other things in the water. And then they'll also go around the side and kind of put their heads on the ground and like chomp like this, looking for bugs or plants. And when they're kind of outside of nesting season, they eat a lot of plants, but when they're having babies, they eat a lot of insects to give the babies protein and get them strong really quickly.
Oh. Wow, well, I didn't know that. Now, how can the ducks hold their breath for a certain amount of time?
Yes.
Because when they're dabbling like that, they stay down for quite a while.
So they're probably a little better than humans at holding their breath, and it'll depend species to species.
Okay.
But yeah, they'll kind of duck down for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds and then come back up.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
We also want to note that they get a lot of their food here. In fact, they get all of their food here, am I right?
Yes.
And they are not for one, right?
No, they're not missing anything here.
You may notice there's some signs around our ponds and waterways indicating that we don't need these animals to be fed by humans. In fact, it can be quite dangerous for ducks and geese and other waterfowl to become accustomed to being fed things like bread and crackers and human food. In fact, it's kind of equated to kids eating candy nonstop.
Yep.
It has no nutritional value.
None at all
whatsoever. What are some things that how can our wildlife be affected by being accustomed to a outside food source?
So as you said, it's like they're eating desserts all the time, so they're gonna get sick. A lot of times they can get diseases. There's one disease that can affect their wings, so they can't fly anymore. Then they're gonna wanna stay here, because if you're getting cookies all the time, you don't wanna leave either. So that's what they're like, hey, this is a good spot, let me stay here, and they won't migrate like they're supposed to get out of our cold winter weather and go south. That's one other problem. It can also cause problems for humans as they get really accustomed to being near us, and they don't know that biting us hurts us, so that's something they may do to protect themselves, or just because they think we have food. And finally, it can hurt our pond, which then takes away their natural food sources, because when they eat all that bad stuff, they're gonna go to the bathroom, which makes algae grow in this pond and then destroys the rest of the ecosystem that is working within it and takes away their natural food sources too.
And so same thing with like leftover bread and stuff that floats on the top. That can just cause pollution and can lead to other avian related diseases too.
Exactly.
Well, these guys over here look like they're doing super healthy. There's some baby ducks over here. Let's go take another walk actually to our second location where we'll talk about another animal that lives around the pond. So another common animal that you can find here at Russell Creek Park, and for any other park in Plano for that matter, is the squirrel. And Olivia, what do squirrels like to eat? Understand they eat nuts, but that's not all they eat, right?
Yeah, no, so that is definitely one of their favorite foods, and there's a reason why they eat those foods so much. But other things that they eat include like the little sprouts coming off the tree, making new leaves, inside of the bark of the tree. The outside's a little bit too tough. And they'll eat the mushrooms that come out the ground after some rain, and they'll eat insects and even bird eggs. So they're really opportunists. They will eat what they find.
Okay, interesting. And okay, I know a common thing that I know, clearly I don't know a whole lot about squirrels, except they eat nuts and they bury nuts.
Yes.
Right? Why do they do that?
So they bury nuts to help them survive through the winter when there's not quite so much of those other food items we talked about. It's called caching, and when they bury it, they remember where they put it. They make like mental mind maps, and they organize the nuts by the type. So they'll have like pecans over here, they'll have acorns from a red oak over here. So they just are really organized, and then they can go dig up these little like pouches of protein and fat basically to help them get through the winter.
How do they know where these are, and how many can they keep track of at one time?
So a fox squirrel, which is the squirrels that we have around here for the most part, and they can bury 3,000 to 10,000 in a year, which, you know, a lot of work. They're very busy, but they remember most of them, I think, but quite a few of them get forgotten, which is really handy for us when it comes to regrowing oak trees and things like that. Yes.
So squirrels are very organized.
Yes, extremely.
Then they know how to have fun too, though, because I see they're playful animals too, right?
Yes, they love to play with each other. The fox squirrels make a lot of noises, different sounds, so yeah, they're really fun to watch and to observe in our parks.
They really are.
Yes.
All right, let's go to our next spot.
Okay.
So we're here now at a beautiful wildflower patch here at Russell Creek Park, which actually turns out provides more than just something pretty for us to look at. In fact, it provides much more, right, Olivia?
Yeah, so this is an amazing spot for animals. It's like its own little ecosystem right here at the park. So it's gonna be really great for bugs, first of all. So insects are gonna use this to get nectar that they feed on. They may even eat the grasses. That's what grasshoppers do. And then they're gonna lay their eggs here, which is really important because it's a lot of native plants that we have here, and our native insects need these plants for their babies to eat, or else they won't survive. And that's important for other animals, particularly birds, because they really rely on insects, and particularly insect larvae, to feed their own nest. Like one nest of chickadees needs 6,000 caterpillars to raise that nest, I think. So they need a lot of insects. So it's kind of like this great balance that we're seeing between the two. And aside from that, you know, birds eat the seed heads, they use it for nesting materials, other animals will come in here, so it's just a really great spot for animals to eat.
Wow. And you said something to me a minute ago that I did not know, and that I think a lot of people at home might like to know as well. You had mentioned the importance of not cutting your flowers back too soon.
Yes, so you can see probably on these grasses here, we've got seed heads, and the flowers, once they're done flowering, they'll turn into a seed head, and that provides seeds for our animals like birds again through the fall and the winter, which is when it's really hard for them to find food. That's, you know, a lot of times people think they have food all year round because we see trees, but no, they really need stuff like the seed heads on your plants to get through the winter.
Even if they look like they're, you know, starting to wilt away or to dry up and go into hibernation. Okay.
That's when they kind of look ugly by our typical human standards, but they're really useful for animals at that point. So it's kind of just, we need to change our thinking on what looks good for our garden, knowing that it's there for wildlife as well.
That is great. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of our Wednesday Wildlife Walk. Olivia, it's been so much fun. I'm learning so much from you. Thank you again. Next week, we're going to be learning how to track these animals, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, the next time you go out on the surface trails, the soft surface trails at our parks, maybe we can help you identify something that was there before you got there. Do you have a topic that you want to learn about, something nature related, whether it's animals or plants or trees? Let us know and comment below. Thanks a lot. And thank you so much, Olivia, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.